Let me also go across to Fouad Izadi, who's joining us, an associate professor at the University of Tehran. Thank you so much, Professor Izadi, for joining us. What happens from here onwards is what everyone's asking. Many have said this is not our war. It is about Iran, it's about Israel, perhaps US. But now, with visuals such as this, warships sinking in the Indian Ocean, the reality of war is getting even more loud. What happens here onwards? Who's going to blink?
You know, we did not start a war. It was a war of choice by Trump and Netanyahu. I don't know if you have seen the interview of the Omani foreign minister who went to Washington to avoid the war. He was begging Trump not to attack Iran. He was saying that an agreement was available within 24 hours. He was saying that Iran was ready to give concessions that Iran was not able to do in 2015. And then Trump attacked Iran less than 24 hours after that diplomatic opening was available. And it's understandable because when they attacked, they said that they want to change Iran's government. And if you want to change a government, you don't enter a diplomatic agreement with the government that you want to change. They have killed more than 1,000 civilians in Iran, including 165 little girls when they hit their school, primary school. We are dealing with the Epstein class. They like to rape little American girls, and they like to bomb and kill little Iranian girls.
Professor Izadi, there are different voices coming in. For example, the White House press secretary had come out and said, we don't know about any young girls who have been killed, 165. They said, we don't know about it. We never directed our missiles towards any civilians, is what the the White House especially has been saying. However, my question is, there are now theories doing the round that apparently a civil nuclear deal is something which was being worked. Would that still be on the table for Iran, to have a civil nuclear deal with America and to ensure that you are at least charting a way towards peace?
You know, that may be true. It may be an Israeli attack on the school. You know, they hit every single school in Gaza. They hit every single hospital in Gaza. They're attacking hospitals in Iran. There is this doctrine, Israeli military doctrine, called the Dahiya doctrine. It's you can Google it. It has a Wikipedia entry. It means that you inflict a lot of pain to civilians to achieve some policy goal. And they want to make Tehran look like Gaza, unfortunately. Netanyahu called the Iranians Emelik. Emelik, according to their beliefs, are people that need to be eliminated, including their women and children. And CNN did a good investigation on hitting of the school, and they said that this was a hit during the war by the other side. They didn't say it was American or Israeli, but there were some people who were saying that this is they were having different theories. So CNN had a good investigation. The report is available online. With regard to an agreement, Iran was attacked 2 times in the middle of negotiations. One time in June, the US attacked Iran in the middle of negotiations. Trump called that attack Midnight Hammer. The operation's name was Midnight Hammer. He took that hammer and he smashed the negotiating table. This week, as I said, Iran was negotiating and they had an agreement at hand. And then he bombed the negotiation table. I don't think Iranians can give him more tables to smash and bomb. They can stop the war today.
The White House has said that President Trump had a feeling based on facts that WMDs, weapons of mass destructions, were being built by Iran.
Well, you know, you read English. The director of the national intelligence, the head of the U.S. intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, went to the U.S. Senate before the June war. The report is available in their site, dni.gov, and she presented a report about, they call it worldwide threat assessment. And when it came to Iran's nuclear program, she said three things about Iran's nuclear program. The first thing she said was that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons. The second thing she said, this is the head of the US intelligence community, she said that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon program. And the third thing she said was that Iranian leaders have not decided to have a nuclear weapon program. When Trump was asked about the report of his US intelligence community, he dismissed it because he's listening to Netanyahu. He's trusting Netanyahu more than his own people. It could be because of the Epstein files. They maybe have a video of him raping people. We don't know why he is acting in this, but we know that he is not doing America first. He's doing Israel first.
Well, yes, there is a diversionary war theory which is also being floated. However, how does this end, Professor Izadi? Because Iran seems to be losing the support of several of your own neighbors. For example, Turkey yesterday, if NATO has also stepped in by intercepting Iranian drones when they were targeting Turkey. Does that worry you? You may have lost the support of NATO now, which seems to be an active combatant in this war. The fact that Iran is now sending missiles towards Turkey, even if this war ends, what happens to your diplomatic relationship with your own neighbors? Who are your friends?
That missile in Turkey was not intended for Turkey. Iranian officials have said that. Iran is hitting terrorist organizations in northern Iraq. You may have seen the reports. Trump is talking to some of the terrorist organizations that are based in North Iraq. He wants them to move in. So they're hitting, this is west of Iran. They're hitting installations in west of Iran with the hope of softening Iranian resistance so they can bring in mercenaries from northern Iraq. This is what Iran was doing there. Since this is near the Turkish border, apparently a missile has gone there. We have had, even during the June war, the British and the French were helping Israel with refueling jets that were bombing Iran illegally. So NATO has been involved, at least some NATO members have been involved in attacking Iran. As I said, Trump can end the war very soon. He has started the war. This was a war of choice. He has unified Iranian people. Every night we have millions of people going to the streets. This is what actually Netanyahu was asking Iranians. He was asking Iranians to go to the streets. And they are doing it, shouting slogans against Trump and Netanyahu. Even if you don't like policies of the government, you don't want your little girls to be bombed, you don't want your hospitals to be bombed. Trump has unified Iranians more than any Iranian politician could ever do.
Okay.
These are genocidal people. We are fighting for Iran. We are fighting for the civilized world.
In fact, Dr. Izadi, I'm just going to come back to you because it's important what you had said. It's important that we re-emphasize the fact that there is a clarification coming in regarding that missile which was hit above Turkey, intercepted by the NATO forces. Now there is a clarification coming in, as Dr. Izadi has also said, that Iran did not fire a missile towards Turkey. In fact, this is the clarification coming in from the General Staff of the Armed Forces, that the Armed Forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran respect the sovereignty of the neighboring and friendly country of Turkey and categorically deny any missile launched towards the territory of the country. So, Dr. Izadi, yes, it's important that we point that out. However, I have a question for you. Many are saying, look at the way people are celebrating the downfall of Ayatollah Khamenei. That he was never popular, he was a dictator, he was a despot. He had hijab patrols ruling the roost, ensuring or rather enforcing an Islamic rule in Iran, which was never the fabric, the traditional fabric of Iran. And that he was immensely hostile, especially towards women. Today, it's a moment of joy that Iranians want to reclaim Iran. Where do you stand on that? Why do we see these visuals of celebrations coming in from Iranians across the globe?
It's, people, Pahlavi people in New York and London are celebrating, and their support inside Iran, I don't want to say less than 1%, because that would be too much. People remember who Pahlavi was. He was one of the most corrupt rulers of the 20th century. You can look at the old Amnesty International reports. Iran was number one in political prisoner torture during the Shah's time. There was a Washington Post report in 1979. He stole $20 billion when he fled Iran. Iranians know
he was
who
deposed.
Trump is.
However, he had the backing of America at the time.
Exactly. He was a puppet of America. He came into power in a 1953 coup because Americans and British like Iranian oil. Iran is number one in terms of oil gas reserves. So they want to take over Iranian oil the same way they want to take Venezuelan oil. These are imperialist regimes that want Iran resources, and they want to create hegemony for Israel. It's not going to happen. People inside Iran have been mourning the illegal killing of Iran's leader in millions. And the reason, even people who maybe had disagreements with him, and the reason is that they don't want their country to be destroyed. They want to balkanize Iran. They want to disintegrate Iran. Iranian average IQ is no less than international average IQ. They know that Trump and Netanyahu are not interested in human rights. Otherwise, they would not have engaged in a genocide in Gaza. They know they are not interested in democracy. Trump is destroying American democracy. Why would you want to trust Trump with the country's future?
Well, Trump claims that there is immense amount of support for him.
Why would Iranians want to like Trump?
Trump says that there is immense amount of support for him and the war back home. Popularity rates don't show it. But thank you so much,
look at the polls.
Dr. Izadi, for joining us here on the show. Unfortunately, one thing seems to be clear. Right now, there is at least no clear way forward for peace and stability in the Middle East. We are going to hope that it is going to happen, and at least one of the sides blinks first. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.